Hello and welcome to a Control Engineering video interview. I'm David Miller, Content Manager at CFE Media and Technology, and today I'm sitting down with Michael Wayde, who is Product Marketing Manager at Phoenix Contact. Michael's going to be discussing with us market trends and purchasing considerations to be made around industrial enclosures. Now, industrial enclosures are a very important but often overlooked part of automation because purchasing the correct enclosure is essential not only to ensuring the best possible performance, but also the longest possible lifespan for sensitive electronic and computing components that go into automation products. On top of that, as Industry 4.0 continues to expand, we're going to see more and more sensors and digital devices make their way onto hazardous plant floors and into other hazardous field environments as well. And that means that enclosures are going to become even more important than they have been in the past. So Michael had a lot of good insights on these topics and others, and a few pieces of advice too for people looking to invest in industrial enclosures for their equipment. So without taking too much more time to talk myself, we're going to go ahead and cut over to that interview with him now. Hello, Michael, and thank you for joining us today.
Hi, David. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I think the best place for us to start is just by discussing the way in which the growth in smart manufacturing, by which of course I'm referring to the use of more sophisticated electronic controls and other computing components, has increased demand for enclosures due to the need, of course, to protect that sensitive equipment. So tell me, is this the case? And can you talk to me a little bit more about it if it is?
That's exactly right. From what we're seeing, as the demand for smart manufacturing has increased, so has the demand for smart machinery and the need for electronic devices to have things like HMIs, digital interfaces, touchscreen, keypads available right at the machines. So we're seeing a trend towards those HMIs in the electronics housings business.
Sure. And is it also the case that with these new digital components, different types of enclosures are required than equipment in the past may have? And can you share some more details with me on some of the different enclosure features maybe that are trending in this new market?
Sure. Like I said, capacitive touchscreens and keypads need to be integrated into these devices, which really means you need more real estate on that enclosure faceplate to accommodate that. So we're seeing that. We're seeing some larger designs as a result of those updates. We're seeing things like single pair Ethernet and connections like USB-C connectors. They're really broadening our portfolio, and really we're getting a lot more demands from customers for these unique types of connectors into the devices. Also, with more power and signal running through these enclosures, we're seeing the need for heat spreaders and heat sinks to handle those thermal demands and get that heat out of the enclosure. So that's having us rethink what the devices look like to be able to take that heat out more quickly from the PCB.
I see. And when it comes to the material rather that the enclosure is made of, I know there are many different types that we can have. Walk me through some of the most common types of enclosures in terms of the materials they're made out of, right? Steel, aluminum, polycarbonate, and so on, and the different kinds of applications they're most likely to be used in.
Sure. You touched on it. Polycarbonate is probably the most prevalent in, let's say, DIN rail level enclosures. We do see some trends towards aluminum, and that's really when you get into applications that need that electronic interference handled. But for the most part, it's polycarbonate. When we look at the breadth of standard enclosures for DIN rail, it's typically in the range of 20 to 25 millimeters in width. The heights and depths run somewhere around 122 millimeters as a standard. We see a lot. The standard typically has two or more rows of push-in or screw-in terminal blocks. And then from an application standpoint, we're looking at These are used for safety relays, drive and motor controls, gateway devices, things of that nature.
And maybe you sort of touched on this a little bit, but I'm gonna maybe prod you to expand on it a little more if you can. Do you see growth in any one particular type more than another? And if so, what's going on in the industry sectors those are used in? What kind of environmental conditions are equipment being subjected to that are driving the growth in that type of enclosure more than others?
Sure. I would say the enclosure type that we're seeing the biggest expansion in right now is what we would call our field level enclosures. So those are enclosures that are going to go outside of the cabinet. They might be on the outside of the machine or even outside of a facility. So when we talk field level enclosures, they're going to have an higher IP rating. I'd say IP67, IP69. We're going to be talking there remote monitoring applications, field installed devices that are looking at weather and possibly smart cities, so traffic patterns and traffic accidents, those types of applications.
I see. And are there any major challenges currently facing the enclosure market? Anything that those who sell and manufacture enclosures need to overcome?
Sure. We see a big challenge in the industry of giving people that Amazon experience. And when I say that, it's people want things the way they want it as quickly as they need it. So it's that balance between customization, a customized solution, and what I would call an off-the-shelf solution. So we've been working with our enclosure line to be able to accommodate both by offering systems, more systems approach. Like we have one system called the industrial case system, and that has a set list of standardized components, but it's a much wider range. So think of it like a Lego system where a customer can go in, they can go onto an online configurator, and they can put their connector systems in the right locations within their housing. It's a build it themselves type of application, as opposed to the old offering, which would have been here is an enclosed cabinet, and you tell us where you need connections, and then we'll send it to a service and we'll mill out spaces. Here with a more customized solution like this, we can get closer to what a customer's real needs are without having too much customization happening through another service.
I see. And would you say that the desire for more customized enclosures is growing?
Absolutely. Yeah, we see we saw a marketable trend here in 2022 with more customized services. And that's it comes even at a greater level when you talk about some of these new connection devices that are coming into play, the single pair Ethernet, USB-C, those types of things didn't exist a few years ago. They weren't part of standard portfolios. So we're now looking to accommodate those types of connections.
I see. I think we've really gone through all of my questions. Unless there's anything else you feel you'd like to add, we really can bring this to a conclusion here.
I'm pretty good. I think we hit all the big topics that you wanted to address and I wanted to talk about.
Sure, absolutely. So, Michael, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and I want to thank all of our viewers for taking the time to tune in.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it.